When I look out into the world we live in, it sort of seems like two unimaginably large systems grinding past each other, and we as agents sort of overlap between the two. In philosophy, the struggle is to explain the extremes, so we have a prayer of understanding the complex situational contingencies that constitute the actual life between the extremes. Without highlighting the extremes, we'd never be able to piece it together in the middle. I believe neutral monism is an attempt to bring us back to the middle where actual reality takes place. In this sense, I think it has the right idea, but there's too much that doesn't make sense with an idea like this where there's what's effectively a universal substance. Consciousness, or at least deterministic awareness, seems to permeate everything, even at the particle level. Perhaps life's consciousness is just a complex layered version of this deterministically emergent first causal power. Let's talk about neutral monism. Neutral monism is a philosophical view about the nature of the mind and the world. It holds that the fundamental substance or reality of the universe is neither purely mental nor purely physical, but is instead a single neutral substance or essence that underlies both. From this perspective, what we typically think of as mental and physical phenomena are simply two different ways of organizing and interpreting this neutral substance. Key features of neutral monism. Neutral substrate. The core idea is that there's a single basic stuff of the universe that's neither inherently mental nor inherently physical. Dual aspects or perspectives. Mental states like thoughts and emotions and physical states like brain processes are seen as different manifestations or perspectives of this underlying neutral substance. Avoidance of dualism and materialism. Unlike dualism, which posits separate realms for mind and matter, neutral monism avoids splitting reality into two fundamentally different types of substance. Unlike materialism, which claims everything is physical, and idealism, which claims everything is mental, it does not privilege one category over the other. There's other competing ideas with neutral monism. Dualism. Mind and matter are fundamentally distinct substances or realms. Substance dualism. The mind and body are composed of different substances. Property dualism. The mind and body share the same physical substance, but mental properties are fundamentally different from physical properties. Materialism. Everything is ultimately physical or can be reduced to physical processes. Reductive physicalism. Mental states are reducible to physical brain states. Non-reductive physicalism. Mental states emerge from physical processes but cannot be fully reduced to them. Idealism. Reality is fundamentally mental, and physical objects are manifestations of mental phenomena. Panpsychism. Consciousness is a fundamental and ubiquitous feature of the universe, present even at the most basic levels of reality. Epiphenomenalism. Mental states are byproducts, epiphenomena of physical processes, and do not influence the physical world. Functionalism. Mental states are defined by their functional roles and relationships rather than by their physical or neutral substrate. Emergentism. Mental properties emerge from complex physical systems but cannot be fully reduced to their physical components. Dual aspect theory. Mind and matter are two aspects of the same underlying reality. Neutral monism, while an intriguing perspective, faces several criticisms. One primary challenge is the vagueness surrounding the neutral nature of the fundamental substance it proposes. Critics argue that it's difficult to conceptualize what this neutral substrate is, if it's neither inherently mental nor physical. Without a clear definition or empirical evidence for such substance, neutral monism risks being seen as speculative or metaphysically ambiguous. Another critique centers on explanatory power. Neutral monism aims to bridge the gap between mental and physical phenomena by positing a common base. Yet it often fails to explain how this neutral substance gives rise to the apparent duality of mental and physical properties. For instance, how does a neutral entity manifest as a subjective mental experience in one context and an objective physical phenomena in another? Without detailed mechanisms or testable predictions, the theory struggles to address these questions convincingly. Furthermore, neutral monism is criticized for lacking parsimony compared to more established theories like materialism or physicalism. Materialism explains mental phenomena in terms of physical processes, which are empirically accessible and aligned with scientific methodologies. By introducing an additional neutral category, neutral monism may complicate rather than clarify our understanding of reality. Critics also argue that neutral monism does nothing to adequately address the hard problem of consciousness, which concerns how subjective experience arises from non-experiential components. If the neutral substance is devoid of mental qualities, how does it lead to the rich inner lives of human experience? Finally, neutral monism is often overshadowed by competing frameworks which provide alternative ways to integrate mental and physical phenomena. These approaches offer clearer explanatory pathways, leaving neutral monism to grapple with its own conceptual and methodological shortcomings. None of these videos are meant to be exhaustive, but more like a curated view of the intellectual landscape over the channel. I think that's the most important thing to understand to gain traction with the largest group of people. Life is incredibly complex. Our minds are just not capable of dealing with the level of complexity we're faced with every day, at least when it comes to existential resolution at a minimum. Science has made leaps and bounds, and artificial intelligence will soon expand our capabilities to hypothesize and get answers to those hypotheses. I do believe there's priority issues in philosophy and we can work those out. I believe we have to work those out because of the world we face with an open fire hose of information sprayed directly into the face of the masses. We have to gain traction on universality if for no other reason than to avert nuclear annihilation. The wisdom of the past says that it's global business that has brought about world peace as we know it. I do think it has. I do think that as we move into an age of trade wars and irredentism and power conflicts, peace brought about by trade is having less and less effect at preventing the next world wars. So out of desperation, I think we have to appeal to epiphany. We have to try because pragmatism and appealing to self-interest is only temporarily keeping that ship afloat. Perhaps this is the destiny of all life, but I want to spend my life trying to get the epiphany to go viral. Bring realization to the masses through viral epiphany. Universality is the monism that's needed. If you guys like this kind of philosophical subject matter, help us out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.